Hi, today I'm going to show you my gluing of the Dimitrij Ovtcharov Innerforce ALC blade. So I have decided to actually glue two of my previous rubbers that I've been using and I enjoy a lot onto this new blade of mine. So basically I'm going to glue a Dignics 05 for my backhand and a Hurricane 3 for my forehand. So I've been using Hurricane 3 for the longest time and it has always been my favorite forehand rubber, and Dignics 05 is something new that I've tried recently and I really enjoy it a lot. So I'm going to try it on this new blade of mine, Dimitrij Ovtcharov Innerforce ALC blade. So let's take a look at the blade. In my previous video, I've shown you the unboxing of this blade and I really love the design a lot, and I'm very excited to try it after gluing the rubber today. Okay, so let's start to unwrap the blade. Okay, so this blade comes very nicely packed in this plastic film as a seal, and I think that's make it feel very exquisite. So I'm going to try to peel this very nicely so I try not to damage the blade. Okay, okay, so here we go. Okay, cool. So very nice blade. I love it. Okay, I will just do a simple bounce test without the film this time round. In my previous video, I did it with the film. So maybe you are wondering how does it actually sounds like without the film. Okay, not too bad. The sound is very crisp and I love it. Okay, so right now basically for the two rubbers, right, I have boosted the Hurricane 3. I'm using a blue sponge Provincial Hurricane 3. Basically it's 40 degrees and 2.15 thickness. Okay, of course different players have different preference and this is my preference. So I have already boosted the rubber, as you can see, so it's curling up and it's pretty normal. So right now what we are going to do is I'm going to start applying the THS15 BOC glue onto these two rubbers and also to the blade, and once it's dry up we can start gluing these rubbers and the blade together. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so for your info, before you boost the Hurricane 3 or any other rubbers, basically what you need to do is first you apply a layer of the a normal glue first, okay, before you start applying the booster. So I have already done that, and now I just want to start to glue this to my own blade. So I am applying the glue now for my Hurricane 3. Okay, now because it's boosted and curled up, it might not be as easy as a flat rubber to glue, so you got to be really careful to hold the rubber well here, not to let it curl up and touch each other, especially you wouldn't want the glue to touch the surface of the rubber at the back. Okay, so just hold it steadily, do it slowly, no hurry. Okay, spread the glue nicely all over the rubber, the sponge. Okay, so over here as well, the bottom part of the rubber. Okay, so as you're watching, if you like my video so far, please remember to like, share and subscribe. Okay, that will really make me feel very happy to do more of this video for you to view. Right now I do not have many videos. I've just started on this journey, but I'm excited to share with you more about my table tennis journey as we test out new rubbers, new blades. Okay, so now I'm done with the Hurricane 3. I'm just going to place it down carefully so that it does not touches the front rubber. Okay, next, the Dignics 05. Okay, same thing. Now it's a flat rubber, so it's going to be much easier. You can do it very easily. Just spread the glue all over the sponge. And because the Hurricane 3 is slightly boosted now, normally when you boost it, it will actually expand the rubber. So it's quite normal to see that when you boost a rubber. So don't be alarmed if you start boosting a rubber and you realize, hey, your rubber has expanded so much, and what should you do? Basically, don't worry, just cut the excess away after you have glued the blade. It's that simple. Okay, so now almost done with the Dignics. So I like to start to apply the glue on the rubber first instead of the wooden blade. That's because I find that the glue on the rubber usually takes slightly longer to dry on the blade itself. So I would always start off with the rubber first so that I have more time to actually do the rest of the gluing. So I'm just placing the rubber here now. Okay, so just to show you, after you apply, it's actually pretty white, and once it's dry off, you will not see this white color anymore. So just as we were talking, the Hurricane glue looks like it's almost fully dry, so you can see that there's no more white color on it anymore. It's back to the sponge color that you can see. Okay, so now the blade. Okay, blade, I find it slightly tricky. Somehow on the wooden surface it dries quite fast. So I found that actually when you spread the glue, you got to be pretty fast before the glue actually dries up, because once the glue dries as you're applying it, you will start to see small bubbles on it. Okay, and that's not what you want, because after you apply the rubber, right, you will start to see that your rubber is actually uneven on the blade. So we have to do this really fast, okay, and smoothly. So since I have glued the blue Hurricane sponge rubber first, I'm going to apply the forehand first. Okay. So if you have excess glue, just scrape it off with your sponge, it's fine. Because I rather have extra glue coming out rather than having not enough glue and then taking time to try to add on glue, which would means, like I mentioned just now, some part of your glue will actually dry up, and that's not ideal, because you don't want bubbles on your rubber. Okay, I would rather use extra sponge, okay, rather than having to waste the glue here trying to reapply everything all over again. Okay, so that's something you may want to take note as you're gluing rubbers. So now basically I have make use of this sponge to collect all the extra glue that I have, and I can't quite use it anymore. So always have spare sponge when you're trying to glue rubbers, and it will actually help. Okay, so right now let's just wait for a while for the glue to dry both on the rubber and on the surface of the blade. Once we are there, we will start to apply the rubber onto the blade. Okay, so just take 5 and we'll be back soon. Okay, so now the blade is dry. Basically, I'm going to start gluing the forehand rubber first. And to do this, I would definitely recommend you to get a roller. I mean, anything that you can roll onto the surface of the rubber, that will be fantastic, so that you can glue it evenly. Just be careful if you have boosted the rubber, because it has curved so much. So you just need to be very careful when you're trying to apply it onto the blade, so that it actually aligns properly. So let's do this now, okay? Okay, once you got the base down, just gently press it, roll it over to the blade. Okay, gently first, so that you can actually make sure it's nicely laid flat before you start to apply some pressure to roll it. Okay, you don't have to press it really very hard, just do some rolling up and down. Okay, you should be able to fit it nicely. Okay, and let's take a look. So I give you the back view first. So you can actually see that there's excess rubber. Okay, this happens because my previous blade is slightly smaller than this blade, so that this rubber, after boosting, right, it actually fits nicely. Okay, and I just need to cut away this little excess over here. But if you have an existing rubber on the blade, you remove it, you boost it, and you apply it back, you will see actually much more excess. Okay, and that's normal, so don't worry that if you have done something wrong by boosting it. Okay, and now it's time to apply the glue for the backhand. Okay, so the forehand is nicely done. Let's make sure we do a good job for the backhand as well. Like I said, you have to glue it pretty fast, apply the glue fast. Okay, and make sure there's no bubbles on the blade. Okay, so this tube is almost finishing, and let's start to apply. Okay, let me bring it closer so you can see how I do it. Like I said, let's brush it fast so that you do not have any glue drying up too quickly on the blade, and that will be quite a nightmare, I would say, because when I first glue the blade, I encountered it a few times, and wow, it's really quite a headache, I would say. Okay, so we are done. Same thing, we just need to let it dry, and when it's dry, we can actually start to apply the Dignics 05 onto the backhand. Okay, so while waiting for the glue to dry, let's do something more constructive. I'm going to slightly cut away the excess rubber, especially those that is slightly too much excess. Those that are just a little bit, normally I will just leave it alone. Okay, I would like to have a little bit, about 1 to 2 mm extra at the side, but this part at the top is too much for me, so I'm going to trim it off. So some people like to use pen knife, some people love to use scissors. For me, I prefer scissors because I think pen knife, you just have to cut it really close to the edge of the blade, and scissors give you the flexibility to create that allowance of 1 to 2 mm that you may want to have for your rubber, because some rubber actually shrink when you remove them and try to reapply them, unless you boost it, of course. Okay. Okay, so it looks like the glue at the backhand is done as well, just in time for us to apply after cutting the rubber. Okay, so now let us start to place the Dignics 05 onto the backhand. Okay, secure the base, same thing, and then start to roll it onto the blade. Okay. Okay, so we are done with gluing the Dignics 05. Okay, so now it looks fantastic, okay, with the front rubber and the back rubber done. So just show you the end result over here. So forehand Hurricane 3 Provincial Blue Sponge boosted, and backhand Dignics 05. Okay, so Now it's going to be very exciting to test out this blade. In my next video, I'm going to show some of the practice with this blade, and I will provide a review of what I think about this blade again. So thank you for watching my video. If you like what you have seen, please remember to like, subscribe, okay, and share with your friends who are interested in this blade, Dimitrij Ovtcharov Innerforce ALC.